All right, buckle up. It's time for Wire 101. For starters, you need to know a few things about different kinds of metals. Stainless steel, for example, is really hard. In turn, it's really difficult to work with. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a place in this world for stainless steel wire. It's probably just not wire wrapping. Also, it will very, very quickly destroy your tools. On the other side, we have aluminum. Aluminum is really, really soft and malleable, which can actually be wonderful when shaping your pieces. However, it's not necessarily going to hold. If you're just now starting out, copper is the word you're going to want to look for, at least in the beginning. So when you're champing at the bit to go out there and get some wire and you go to a craft store, the word you want to look for is copper. You want a wire that has a copper core. 5 years ago, this was a lot more difficult to do. However, craft stores have been getting a lot better about supplying copper core wire. And most of the time on the actual craft store wire, you will see, and I know it's backwards, but you will see it says copper. So it's a plated wire that has copper in the middle. Despite me saying that, I do not recommend starting with craft wire. I say that because craft wire is plated and coated, and it's more likely to mar. And if you do mar it, scratch it with your tools, you can't buff that out. That's there forever. And if you've been working on a piece for a couple hours and you scratch it in a place that you can't take away, it's going to look like that forever and you're going to feel like you've wasted your time. This is why I say start with copper, because copper you can buff. Moving forward, let's talk about gauges. The smaller the gauge, the larger the wire. The larger the gauge, the smaller the wire. This one is 16 gauge. This one is 26 gauge. See the difference? There are also different kinds of shapes of wire. Unless otherwise specified, it's probably just round wire. However, there is square wire. That wire is shaped square. And then there's something called half round wire, and you're not going to be able to see very close up. However, it's shaped like this. I mentioned this in another video. It's a half circle. Another reason I always recommend starting out with copper wire is because raw, dead soft copper wire can be oxidized, and you can check out my other video on oxidation. But that will take your wire from this to this, which is a lot of fun. Let me know if you have any questions or if I missed anything or if there's anything you want me to make.